Hey dudes, welcome back. I'm actually recording it tonight. I just did a quick video before this, and I was feeling kind of tired, but I think I can do it. So today we're doing another sort of like blowback effect, but it'd be more like a wind effect. So something like this. It's hard to see, but you can see the wind sort of blowing off behind her. These long stringy things. They look really sweet. Oops, wrong move, my bad. See, going crazy right here. It's really flashy, cool. It's quite simple, but having a good texture is sort of night and day. So that part's going to be hard. Um, I was a little unproud of myself. Our last video, I sort of got a little flustered when we were working on um, the texture for it, and I was like, well, just work on it. But I should just, if it takes longer to do it, I should just do it. And I've even said this in the past, like, I just tend to get nervous if things aren't like, if I'm not like going through it, I feel like I'm a fraud or something. So yeah, but we'll do our best. We'll make a cool texture and show how we animate it. It's really simple. Let's just get to it. Let's go to our project here. Close this out. We might have it made already. Let's peep our that's the effect we did last time. With a fixed shader, if you'll check our the actual other video I uploaded today. So the first thing we want to do is make a hemisphere, which is what we already did. So I suppose I was gonna add that you can sort of add a little extra here. Um, I don't know. Now I'm like, should I show it? Because we did it last episode. We could do it real quick, right? Let's see, one sec. Sweet. Thanks for waiting there. Let's pop into Blender. So we're just here in object view, do shift add, do a UV sphere. I just do the default fidelity settings. Smooth out your faces. You might want to actually, like in the future, do like lighting on some of your effects. It's good to do that. And when you start doing effects where you like doing vertex displacement, you'll want to smooth out your normals. You can do it in the import in Unity too, but just something to keep in mind. Go ahead and alt right click that, mark seam, select all, do front view, unwrap sphere projection. It's a little weird. We're going to the shift cursor to, excuse me, to selected, delete that, extrude that, scale 0, scale it along there, and to grab that, that. Scale y -1 after fixing it because we want the UVs down here. I didn't show this before, but I actually like to have some extra. I'm doing loop cuts here. And then doing smoothness at 1. Just have some extra loops down here. Because we're going to be stretching it out a lot, and you tend to like see this part a lot, and that's where a lot of the shape is. You could honestly probably like delete these. I mean, you would probably notice it, but you could get away with something along those lines if you know what I mean. We won't save this; it's identical to the one we made before, but I just wanted to show it for completion's sake. And we're going to be doing our shader does both sides. So like in old videos, I used to like duplicate this, Shift D, and then put the normals, but we don't have to do that anymore. We can render both faces in Unity easily. The other thing I did want to show is that like you might want this, but I found with this effect that this is enough. We're gonna stretch it out a bunch, and the shape just seemed kind of weird. For some effects, it's good. Then you know, find that edge if you need. just pull it up. It doesn't have to be precise with VFX. You can get away with being pretty loosey-goosey. And if you hold control, you could probably make it as precise as you needed. So we won't bother saving, not a big deal. Let's get started. And hide that. We are going to duplicate this. Well, we shouldn't because we should show how to do it. So click, create a particle system. Let's call it VFX. Whatever you like. Let's get this into the shot. And I've added this white background along with a dark background just so you can, in general it's good to make sure your effects look good in different environments, but I guess that's it. I don't know what the other thing was. Part of it was because of that issue from that other video about like the shading, like if you're, make sure there's nothing weird going on with your blending or something either. So we're only gonna need a single burst. Shape is, we can actually probably just turn the shape off. And we're going to use a mesh. And we want to align it to the local. That way we can rotate it and stuff. Speaking of which, why is this up and down? It's kind of weird, right? What's that about? It's kind of strange. Is that a normal particles thing? I'm not sure. Speed, we're going to be quite fast. We'll do 0.5. It'll be slow, and we can just speed it up in our implementation or as we work on it. Let's actually set that mesh. Sorry for jumping back and forth like that. So hemisphere, the flipped UVs. Make sure that's showing up correctly. Looks pretty good. Go to our materials and create material. Space 1. Delete that from that last video. Set it transparent. Set it to pre-multiply. Render face. We want both. Depth right. Actually, want to disable it for now. Auto's good. You could do auto first, but keep that. Alpha clipping actually doesn't do anything. Since I've updated the shader, I use my own clip thing because alpha clipping doesn't work well with pre-multiplied because you can have a 0 alpha if you're doing additive blend, right? And then that would just clip it always. Do that. Just do all white mostly. We'll mess with it after we make the texture. So let's sort of start to get our rough shape. Let's do this start size out here. And we're going to grab our pivot, slide it back. You know, it's going to depend on the effect. A lot of times you want those hemispheres. That is where you want the pivot, like at the base of like the sphere, right? But for this effect, we want it here. Start rotation. Like that, just so we can see it a little bit better. Be one sec here. Just waiting there. Just had a little clutter in Photoshop. Let's go in there. Do new 512. Whatever size works for your project. You can always, you know, scale it down in the project in the import settings, but I just like keeping the file size down a little bit. Here. And at first, let's just do like a straight line. We'll do a little glow. So we have a little bit of definition. We can scroll this out that we can get rid of the black outlines on the edges, if you know what I mean. Let's see here. It's my third wind texture. I'm not sure. Call whatever you like, smoke or wind, whatever works for you. Sign that new material we made. I don't remember what the new one was. Couldn't be that one. Should have picked a better name. Oh, blowback wind. I did. I thought I didn't see it when I was looking. Sorry. Yeah, grab our wind texture here. Fix the import settings because it bugs me. Well, and because we do want to remove the matte. Sweet. So now we have this. I'm a little confused why it's doing that shape. Pause again, sorry. Well, thanks for waiting. I thought it was a repeat issue, but I was like, that shouldn't matter. But it's because of how the shader is set up in like the vertex imports, vertex stream stuff. But I did want to do per axis on here, and then on the X we want to clamp, and then on the Y we do repeat, because we're going to be sliding it back, but we kind of want to be able to clamp it. So let's go ahead and do that. Our custom vertex streams, what we have in this one, 2 here, and then custom 2, we have 4. And should do a little bit of distortion just so we can see what this is actually doing. So just for that would work a little bit better. I suppose I could use start with that. Honestly, that might look kind of okay. It's gonna be a little bit thin. Let's go ahead and go skirt. It's gonna have a seam, but we're just getting it started here. Oops. You can see it's wrapping around a bunch. You might like that, but that's sort of traveling at far distance, like across the x-axis. So we're gonna wanna tile that up a bit like that. And if we take the Y offset, you can see that shape. Let's go ahead and clean this up just so it doesn't bug us anymore. Grab my tablet. Start adding some shapes. I'm not going to get too into it, but we just want to. Having some breaks and stuff like this can look really nice. And change of width is really important too. Try not to touch these edges because we lined them up, but it's not like a huge deal. Just cut into it a bit. Keep those cool shapes that we like. Just a little extra on the edge here, or like, you know, off to the side. Sharpen it up. It's really thin right here. Keep clicking the wrong thing. And scroll that a little bit, see how it looks. Sweet. That's maybe a little bit too much right there. Just too much in one sort of spot. There's just a lot of activity, if you know what I mean. So if we like it, I'm gonna do that all day, aren't I? Something like that. Alrighty, that's pretty sweet. So you see it like in the game view down here. Let's get a better shot on the camera. We can like, sorry, I'm just like, it looks so sweet already. um, if why it works so well is because we are, you know, at the, oh, I closed Blender. Anyway, um, you know, on this mesh, you know, right here, it's really narrow, so the texture gets really pinched, and so because it's pinched, it sort of is sort of coming from the same spot, if that makes sense. And then as the texture goes out, you know, in this like snake-like pattern sideways, keep clicking the wrong one. It sort of expands out. So even though we're just scrolling it along the Y here, we get really cool motion. Like it really snakes around, and yeah, I'm like really proud of how that texture turned out. It needs a little bit of work, but like that's pretty sweet. Um, stretch this out a little bit more. Actually, in the game, we stretch it quite a lot. Do that, and then we can adjust that tiling if we like. Oops, not the one I want. I meant this one. So if you want it a little bit more like that, generally want it pretty. Something like that. Honestly, the default looked the best. Or I guess not default, but that first one that we were working on. By stretching it out too much, we lose some of that sort of sideways motion. And when you use it close up on a character, it's gonna be fine. You know, it'll depend on the context. Like you're doing sort of a cutscene or something. I'm reminded. I forget which One Piece game it is, but they use effect like that a lot. I mean, it looks really good. I don't know if the game's very good. We're just fighting the dude on the balcony. I think it's like one of the more recent ones. Anyway, so this is like basically it. But we can take it to the next level. You know, this is honestly serviceable, but kind of have to add a mask here. So I have this one sort of pre-made, but basically it's going to fade in a little bit at the bottom and then fade out at the top. So by adding that mask, as we scroll it, you know, we have this effect like this. That looks so good, dudes. Masks are like stupid. They like, you don't have to have good animation. You don't have to do alpha cutoffs. If you just have like a nice mask and you scroll stuff past it, you can do it with like sword slashes and stuff. I might do like a quick video on that. I don't know. But like, look how nice that looks. Oh my god. It's so simple and it's so badass. This looks so nice. Up the intensity just so it pops a little bit more. Probably don't want it to glow, but just for this exercise. Yeah, then it's like too light down here. I'm messing with the. I guess it's fine, but I wanted to a little bit more fade off. So I like scrunched the mask here and then scrolled it a little bit. That way I haven't even animated it yet. The inside has a little bit. I don't know. That's almost worse, you know. It'll be up to you. Like that. There's a nice quality to that too. In certain effects, you like would really want to do it, but for this, pretty anime. Dude, I fucking killed it on that texture. That looks real nice. I'm kind of surprised. Can also do this. Go ahead and duplicate it. But you might want to go in and add a little bit more sort of like value change. But and it depends on the style. You can also just hit it with the motion blur. 90 degrees, 90, excuse me. One day we'll get it, sweet. It'll give it a little bit more, you know, sort of motion blur, literally. And you can use it for like alpha cutoff stuff too. You can kind of decide what you like better. See, it's like a little bit more smoky. Set it pretty heavy. Even that looks nice, you know. And then we can turn the alpha influence down, alpha cutoff up. So we can keep it sharp if you wanted to do a texture that was that you want to do like an alpha cutoff like this. So we can do that. The effect is pretty fast, but like again, if you're doing a cutscene or a more cinematic attack or something, you might want to, you know, mess with this. Then we can do the cutoff range. That way we can have soft edges and do the cutoff. Look at that. Look how pro we are. All right, well, let's animate it then. I'm going to go back to this one. I thought it was pretty cool. Influence back up. And so in our custom data, one of these is unused at the moment. I'm going to add some stuff for like displacement maps and stuff. Yeah, it'll be my next video. No, I'm going to do an animation video next because I have a new job and I did an animation breakdown thing and it's like, man, I've been meaning to do this for like, I don't know, 6 years. Tiling, offset. So offset's going to be here. So if we do that, so that's what we want to animate. Dudes, I'm sorry. That looks so good. Yo, I say this all the time. More creators need to pop off at their own art. Like I don't get it. So we're gonna do the classic fast in, slow out. See how it looks. I find with this effect, I don't want it to. Usually I like a slope like this, you know, where it's real subtle. But having that motion, because you know it's wind, it's sort of like blowing off. We kind of want to keep it moving. Just watching it here, seeing what might work. I'm also gonna do the color. Don't let me off. That's gonna drive me crazy. I fade it in a little bit in my stuff. You can get away with just not. Again, because we're using pre-multiplied blending, we need to do that. You know, darken the color, not just reduce the alpha. hold it for a bit. It generally looks better, I think, if you just start fading it out right away, but we'll hold it for a bit. See how nice that looks, like keeping the motion going as it like fades out. Oh baby. But you might like this, you might like this, you might like this. That's cool too, you know. Hold that a little bit longer. Oh, that's so nice, dudes. So it's a bit repetitive, right? I think we like this one. Need that. So let's add some variety. Um, Obvious is like changing the size, changing the rotation. So if we do 3D start rotation, you know, sorry, it's like a tradition. Instead of doing like 0 to 360, I do this. I actually ran into an issue one time where it like wasn't, and that isn't why I did it. This has always been just something I like to do. It's not even like a superstition. But the other day I ran into it where I don't know what was happening. Anyway, it's the side thing. So now, you know, the rotation's different. Do like two at once, just so you can sort of see it. Let's do some different lifetimes. 6 maybe. I don't know. Well, that I was gonna say I don't like the fast ones, but that last one kind of good. So we get different angles and we got different lifetimes, but we have that same tiling each time. So let's, you know, basically the same texture, exactly the same time. Like obviously it's the same texture, but we can do random between two curves here. And just try and match up the curve as best we can. Doesn't have to be exact. Grab that. Slide it all down by one. Now we get different segments of the smoke, right? I do kind of wish I had a little bit of like, this might ruin it. Because there's something kind of nice about it too, but just bear with me, okay? No, we should keep it hard, I think. This probably will look better if I did it on the previous one and then hit it with the motion blur. We'll just cheat a little bit. A little bit extra going on there. Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe a little bit too much, but you to the side. There's a couple more things I wanted to do. You could also, I tried this a bit, but I kind of didn't love the results. But we can mess with the tiling a little bit too. Do like negative 0.1. Sorry. Oh my god. This is the Unity bug. It's so annoying. Dude, new Unity has so many problems. So just sort of changing the thinness, the thickness, like we show the examples. We could have some like really thick ones, you know, that sort of wrap around a bunch. That might be cool. It might not be what you need. We can make it really stretched out, or we can scrunch it like this. You could also just make your initial texture. You can see because it's tiled more that like it won't be as fast. So that can be an issue too. But what I was gonna say is that like if you like that sort of super repetitive look, you'd be advised to like, you know, scrunch this down in here and then do like a similar but different shape. That way you have like a little bit more variety. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else. This actually went very smoothly. Oh yeah, there is one thing. You can also do the alpha cutoff. It's almost like too much variety now. Just gonna just because we're still working with it. I want it to fade a little bit more. I think I'll show you what the other one looks like too. If you just sort of fade right away, that can be really nice. Yeah, that's nice. They're both real nice. Set it aside. In between. So anyway, we can do the alpha cutoff as well. We might switch to that other texture, but we'll get it set up here. I think it's this one. It's the top one. Cool. Yeah, we're gonna need to because we don't have much alpha to work with. Yeah, there's still like a lot of opacity here, you know what I mean? There's not much cutoff motion we can get from it. So, and is that really it? I thought I really went crazy on one. Maybe that's it. Who knows? Oh yeah, that looks nice though, right? That's even more like, and if you wanted, you could do like just the cutoff. Um, really blur it up. You might want to like hit it from another angle. That way we can get more of these edges. Get some of that going. It's really nice. Turn the cutoff range up a bit. Maybe the edges are softer. Oh man, it's sweet. So you need to like work on the texture a little bit, but that does look pretty nice. I might just sort of leave it here while still doing this. We did. Yeah, that's nice, dudes. So yeah, that's it. Trying to think if there's more to it, but it's really a simple effect. It looks really cool. Um, I use it everywhere. Again, like this and this one we did last time. Just has a lot of uses, and you sort of learn a lot. We use the exact same mesh here too, which is pretty cool. We get two really different looking effects, which I think is really neat. It didn't look quite good. Oh, I don't have the anyway, you know what to do there for your own projects. Oh, that looks so sweet. It even, I don't know, it might look bad. We're basically done. I'm doing the outro here, but what if we rotated it? I don't know. I think there's something to that. You know, it's a little bit weird, but I think if you set it up, you don't necessarily have to do it. But honestly, if you want that, maybe you should just use like a displacement map. Anyway, let's keep it original. We like it. Um, yeah. Thanks again, everyone, for all your support. Y'all have been amazing over the years. Um, if you have any questions, please let me know. Um, thought there'd be more to say. um, you are amazing. Check me out on Blue Sky at Dream Girl Games. Please ask me if you have any questions or if you have any ideas for VFX or seeing some cool VFX in games. You might want to see how it's done. Yeah, catch y'all later. Bye.